Hello and welcome. I'm Ben the Best 5, and this is a look at what the base looks like in its current state, because as you can see there's a habitation module attached to the main central docking hub, and that was added by Spaceship in the last video. So if you want to see that get added, make sure you go and check it out in the next video. Anyway, as to today's mission, me and Spaceship in our next videos are in fact adding transports to the base. My addition will in fact be two special little Juna buggies which I'll drop off near the base so that Kerbals can enter them and drive around the surface of Minmus. They have built-in RTGs and stuff, so they can in fact power themselves and be a general all-purpose Minmus exploration vehicle. They also have built-in cargo space for the modules, for the deployable science modules there, so that's a nice addition. So they can be used to set up portable bases as well. So they're quite a good multi-purpose vehicle. As for the launch vehicle itself, it's a reusable rocket, and it's in fact the exact same one as my last launch vehicle. Just simply because if I have a design, I like to use it over and over again and improve it. Kind of like the way real rockets are built up. You know, you get a rocket and it and then you'll like build on it and build like design 2.0 stuff. So that's what I like to do. And the rocket I built for last video actually worked nicely for transporting bits of stuff to space. So I decided that I'd like to reuse it and kind of work on it and make it kind of a flagship line of my vehicle. So because of that, I have in fact decided to use it again. I haven't modified it at the moment because I haven't seen any real issues with its performance, although it is a bit wobbly, and that's because it hasn't been auto-stride. That can be fixed, and I in fact do fix it in just a minute here by switching to the probe core that is inside the main body of the upper stage there. And that was actually quite difficult to do, but when I was able to control it from there, the whole thing suddenly got a lot more smoother. And yes, I do perform a recovery as per the last video. This recovery is fairly similar, however, to the last video, so if you have seen that, then this will be a bit of deja vu, I guess, for you, but this one does actually land further away from the Kerbal Space Center, and it's a bit more of a fiery re-entry, so I guess that is nice to see that the booster can survive more extreme landings in its current state without having to undergo a redesign. So that's always nice and something I can talk about. Also, you might have noticed that this footage here is in fact sped up a lot less than most of my other footage. That is because for this video I figured, well, if you've seen this far into the series, you've probably seen, well, at least 3 that I know of Minmus encounter burns. So I decided to cut out all of my Minmus planning and execution burn and just skip straight to the Minmus orbit and landing stuff. And I decided to slow it down so I could spend more time talking about the more exciting and payload bits of this mission. In fact, we're already here circularizing. I think I'd just include circularization footage just because it's fun to have a look at. There is just something quite nice looking about entering an orbit of a planet. I guess you get to kind of see it moving underneath you and kind of slowing down, and that's kind of cool to watch, and suddenly you're in an orbit. Although for this one, because this engine is pretty powerful, because it is designed to work with quite powerful vehicles, we did overshoot, so we'll have to quickly turn around and burn the opposite direction so that we actually end up in an orbit and not crashing into the surface. Now, the good thing for us in this video is we actually ended up quite conveniently in a place where we would end up just above the in an orbit that passes almost over the base, so we didn't actually have to wait that long before starting our landing. Now, my plans for this was pretty simple. Just get to near the site, and then perform a burn to get me roughly to the area, and then just perform burns while I'm low down on the surface of Minmus, and then just perform little hops until I'm near enough that I can deploy the Kerbal cars, Kerbal buggies, exploration buggies. Someone in the comments think of a good name to call them, because they don't really have a name. They're just the cool buggy things which you'll see once they get deployed. Or actually you'll have seen them in the thumbnail if you saw the thumbnail. So there is that. So if someone in the comments could think of a name for that, that'd be great. Anyway, the plan is to just get near it and then bump over. Now that's not particularly difficult, because this thing was engineered with a lot of delta V built into it, and it was quite unnecessary. However, the structure I did build was quite cool, so I think that justifies it. Also, you might have noticed that I in fact have 2 stages in there. That is simply because I figured from previous Minmus landing experiences that I would probably inevitably crash the vehicle and probably damage the base of it. So, and I just don't want to have to land again and again and again to get perfect, because I don't know, that's just not fun. So I in fact gave it a set of redundant engines, so I can crash, blow the engines off, and then yeah, still be fine, still be able to land and stuff. So here I am in fact using Minmus's small gravity effect, plus the relatively efficient and powerful effect of the Terrier engine. Yeah, as I said, the Terrier engine is powerful, but it's not powerful, but in Minmus's gravity it is kind of powerful enough to just drop its velocity to 0 and let it kind of fall. Or in this case, we can use it to then point at the location of our base and then make it so that we're heading directly towards the base, at which point we can then slow ourselves down, point further towards the base as required to get ourselves near enough to drop the vehicles off, and then we can send the little sky crane I'm using to lower down the vehicles just off into the mountain somewhere to crash and not, be an issue. Oh, and yes, by the way, in case you're wondering, I do in fact use the extra set of redundant engines. Yeah, but not quite yet. I do that later, so spoiler alert. Also, that's a really cool thing. I did like the idea of doing this landing in the night, just because the structure is so incredibly visible and clear. Like, it's like pitch black around it, you can see nothing. However, the base itself is very well lit up, so I have a nice and easy target to aim for. So that's really nice, and thanks to Space Sheep there for making sure the structure is well lit. Very useful for landing. And that's another thing that I ensured with my vehicles, is that they have a wide array of lights pointing both forwards and backwards. So when the vehicle is being used to explore areas on the dark side of Minmus, or the side that's in night, then the vehicle will be able to give off enough light that the person driving it will in fact not have a collision with whatever they're not trying to collide with, like bits of rock or the ground or whatever. So yes, I made sure the lighting was nice, and I actually think that the lighting rack on top there looks pretty cool. And this is the point at which we find out we needed that second set of engines, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure, at least. There we go. We have crashed, but that is not a worry, because I was able to eject the engines and lift back up, and the cars themselves are so incredibly durable that they didn't in fact take any damage. You might in fact notice that some of the decorative struts around place, that they were in fact not damaged in the crash. They were in fact damaged on launch, kind of, where they just spawned in weird because like they spawned in the wrong connections and connected to each other and stuff. That's just because even though in the vehicle assembly building they look fine, that's just because those parts are occasionally glitchy. And yeah, as for the deployment of the things, they are in fact just attached by docking ports on the underside of the vehicle. So how you deploy them is you land, you right click on that docking port and then undock it, and you've dropped your vehicle. You can then take off for a little bit and move just so you don't land back on top of the site that you landed your first car, and then land it and then just take off the undock the craft from the landing rocket, and yeah, like this, and then yeah, undock it, and then you'll have two nicely deployed space cars ready for some action and adventuring. Or maybe if we build a second base, that's also a good idea. Yeah, if we end up having a second base for an outpost, I mean, we haven't discussed that far. We do, in fact, we do communicate, and we are good at that. We in fact have a vision for the rest of our base, and next video there will in fact be a vehicle launched by a space sheep, which is pretty cool. So you should, if you like seeing cool vehicles in Kerbal Space Program, you should definitely stick around and watch that video coming out next on his channel. So quick promotion to the other creator of this base. Other than that, that is the thing gone. We can get rid of the sky crane, let it crash harmlessly into the ground, and yeah, we've successfully deployed it, and we can watch the sun coming up, just because that's always cool to look at. And there we can see the buggies in all of their glory. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Up on the screen there'll be some links you can check out. One of them will be a link to the playlist featuring the videos from both myself and Spaceship in our Minmus colonization collaboration video. The other one will just be from my channel and it will be recommended as to something you'll enjoy. Other than that, please subscribe to both myself and the other wonderful creator of this series, Spaceship. Please leave a like. Please comment if you want to talk to me, because that's one of the easiest ways, because I get a notification for every single message that someone sends, and I make sure that I read every single message. Other than that, thank you for watching. Please support me. Please support Spaceship. Please support the series, and have a great day. See ya.